Hey everyone, welcome to another commentary by Shadow Incarnate 6, aka me. This is actually for a friend of mine. He asked me to commentate his first Rammus game, so that's exactly what I'm doing. Um, I do have a few little thoughts about Rammus for the most part. One of my thoughts is that Rammus kind of got bombarded by nerfs, and I don't think they were entirely warranted. Not only that, but they just didn't they kind of didn't hit the right place. So, I mean, all more power to this guy, to Ian's Rammus, but I gotta say, he kind of, I think he would have done even better if he picked someone else, if you ask me. I mean, Rammus is by no means bad, but man, he is not what he used to be. It takes a lot to get to where he was before. It takes a lot to get him to late game, more effort than it did before. But you'll see the enemy team already has a problem, at least that I can see. It's the fact that they're not really tanky. Xin Zhao is kind of tanky, but you gotta actually build more damage on him than tank items, so I think that was one of their biggest mistakes. So that's definitely something that they did wrong. That and the fact that they have Ryze, Olaf, and Rammus, so they're going to be able to stick into team fights a lot longer than the other team is. Plus, the other team, as far as I can see, they don't really have any huge disengagements. They have Tryndamere and Akali, but those are just singular disengagements, not really any big ones there, other than Xin Zhao's knockback. And even then, it's going to be hard for him to get out of a big team fight, especially with a Rammus stun and a big binding going out. That and the fact that a few of these characters, especially once Olaf gets or Rammus gets oracles or something, it's going to be really hard for Akali to get away. I mean, her disengagement is completely reliant on stealth, and she struggles at getting away. But besides that, because she just can't get out of those big situations. Right now, it looks like they tried to feign an invade here. Katarina is kind of moving in on this kind of invasion thing. Looks like we got a bit of a skirmish here. It doesn't look like anything's going to come out of it, though. Unless they go in. I mean, I don't know. We might see some First Blood action going in here. And there we go. We get Olaf First Blood. This is going to give him a really big advantage early on. Main thing is, though, that Olaf doesn't really want to go in too much further, especially since they already had the advantage. I don't know why they're going in further. I mean, they're just getting greedy. But other than that, I mean, gives Olaf definitely some breathing room. It gives Olaf an extra item to build after he goes back to top lane. And additionally, it warded off the invade because nobody wanted to invade after Katarina got caught. Big mistake by her. That's going to really penalize her for getting caught there, and she's going to be really behind compared to Ryze, who got the assist for that. So, as you can see, Rammus isn't really that fast of a jungler. That's a bit of a problem for him. It always has been a big problem for him, which makes me wonder why he actually got nerfed. His ganks were pretty powerful, yes, but a lot of other characters' ganks were powerful too. But they didn't really nerf anything about the ganks. They just kind of nerfed his clearing time and his the way he cleared things. But anyway, let's see how these lane matchups are going. Looks like Olaf is going to have a few little problems against Xin Zhao, as anticipated. Xin Zhao does have that armor reduction on his Q, which gives him the early advantage against Olaf, who is pretty squishy early on. Other than that, I mean, let's see how this Xin Zhao, I mean, not Xin Zhao, I'm sorry, how this Ryze and Akali matchup's going. What I would think would happen here is that Ryze would be pretty hurting until blue buff came along, especially after level 6. Ryze has an inherent disadvantage against people with gap closers. And hang on a second, let me look at what's happening down here. It looks like a duo bottom lane. You don't see any supports down here, let alone any ranged characters. It's kind of odd to see. You can't exactly see completely because of this low replay thing, but it looks like they're going for a big kill lane bottom lane against a Soraka Ezreal, which I don't think was very smart personally, but to each their own. But for the most part, again, this is just kind of them farming. I don't think Olaf, even with First Blood, wants to go in on this Xin Zhao. He's just going to hurt him so much and make him come out behind in trades. Because that's how the matchup goes with the Olaf versus Xin Zhao. Anyway, looks like Rammus is actually going in for the gank for top lane. Let's see if Xin Zhao can react fast enough. Yeah, it looks like he sees something going on here. But I think it's going to be all but too late. I mean, he's already got the taunt off and everything. Oh no, he doesn't. Never mind. He doesn't have the taunt off at all. So it looks like Olaf, for some reason, wanted to go in on that. I don't know what he was doing. But on the bright side, Rammus gets the kill. I don't know if that was a really worthy trade, though. That's going to just make Xin Zhao's lane even harder to deal with for Olaf now. Especially since Olaf really struggles against Xin Zhao early. This is going to make Xin Zhao snowball even more. But again, looks like Rammus is going in for yet another gank. This time on Akali. I don't know if this is smart though, because now they see where Akali's going, because especially since oh boy, that was going to happen. So far, it looks like these ganks have not been horribly successful. I mean, other than Rammus getting 2 kills, he's got to really be careful that he doesn't just bait his lanes into dying, because a fed Rammus doesn't mean a whole lot, because he doesn't snowball as well as his lanes do, especially in the Olaf lane. Xin Zhao snowballing against him is going to really hurt him, I feel like. But again, these bottom lanes being pushed out of control. Let's see if Rammus can get a gank down on here. It's going to really help Ezreal out if he can. But for the most part, it looks like he's taking over for experience. He's ahead of Tryndamere in experience, which is actually not surprising, because Tryndamere hasn't gotten any... we got some spin action going there. He was in a little bit of hot water, but then he got out of there. Looks like Rammus is just going to kind of go back, or going back into his jungle. We'll see what happens. And Ryze putting a ward down. This is going to help him be more aggressive, hopefully. Against an Akali, though, I don't know if that's wise. Especially with her sustain and her gap closing power. Ryze may want to wait until way later in order to go after him. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go after... I'm a little surprised he didn't go in after him after he got boots. I mean, that's a little bit of an unusual move there. And right there, it looks like... Oh man, he got lucky there. That Ezreal and Soraka were both extremely low there. Especially since it just seems like Rammus... It's alright that he keeps getting kills, and in this case he gives them assists and stuff, but... For the most part, these trades just aren't the best. And I'm sorry, I missed up there. Olaf looks like he got a bit too aggressive, and Xin Zhao came out ahead on that. Let me see how much health he's at. Yeah, he didn't even break a sweat. He has so much sustain and so much early damage that there was just nothing he could do. Again, a little unusual that they didn't back off when they were so low, especially when Tryndamere can gap close to you and then slow you. It's just, there's nothing you can do about that, really. Especially when I saw Ezreal had low mana and low health, so it's not like he could have gotten out of that, because he flashed for that kill down at bottom. But it looks like Rammus is going for that Heart of Gold, and we'll see if he goes for that Ninja Tabby, because Ninja Tabby is really good on Rammus, especially now with one of the recent changes on it. We'll see what other items he goes for, though. Let's see if he goes for any MR. That's probably what I do on Rammus, anyway. Especially with Akali being a little bit snowbally there. Looks like he's going for blue. Let's see if he gives it to Ryze. That'd be probably the wise thing to do. Wise, Ryze. Terrible joke. Anyway, looks like he pings it, so it is evident that he's going to probably go for blue buff. Don't know why this Akali doesn't seem to be doing damage. But anyway, so yeah, Ryze is getting his first blue buff here. Olaf is pushing a little far here. Let's see if he's level 6 or not. I don't think he's level 6 though. Oh, he is. Never mind. He's level 6, so if Xin Zhao jumps on him, he can probably just back off. So that's That's always nice. Putting a ward down there, it'll see Tryndamere as he comes in. And Tryndamere's ganks aren't horribly dangerous, but it's still extra pressure that Olaf doesn't want to deal with, so I understand. Looks like we're going to see some bottom lane action going here. And they're going for Diana here, or actually Cat, because she just foolishly used her dash to get to Rammus for some weird reason instead of getting to a minion. Bit of a weird play there. I don't understand what the purpose of it was. And I also don't know why they told Rammus to go away, especially since they probably could have killed Diana if they continued, because Rammus has mana still. Looks like he's going back around for this Diana. This Diana is kind of... No. She's too close to the turret. Alright. That would have been a silly dive if they went for it, especially with the amount of burst Diana packs early game. And this lane, I imagine, is going to get a bit harder for Ryze, especially since she's likely level 6. He is too, but he's not tanky yet. He doesn't have any MR. He's got 39, which is definitely something you want to pay attention to, especially when you're fighting an AP. Is you have to pay attention to how much damage they do and then how much magic resist you're going to need. So it looks like Rammus just stole their red buff, and Tryndamere is going to be really hurting for that, because without that all he's got is an unremarkable slow. It looks like this Akali is actually... Oh my god, I don't know what Rammus is doing here. Oh, let me see if he... Oh, not even, as Donkey would say, not even close, baby. We'll see what's happening bottom lane. It looks like we're getting some aggressive action going here. But she ducks into the minions, so not much is going to happen there. Again, this Olaf Xin Zhao lane, for some weird reason, both of them are being passive. I'd expect Xin to push his early lead and kick Olaf's ass because he has the advantage over him right now. So we'll see how this goes. Looks like Tryndamere's going bottom lane, but they have a ward there, so hopefully Soraka... Oh no, Soraka's not down there. Okay, never mind. Ezreal just had to back off a little bit, and that was fine. He did. Looks like Rammus is going for the Frozen Heart, actually. Going for the early Frozen Heart. That'd probably be what I'd do, actually, because you want that early cooldown reduction because of the fact that Defensive Ball Curl has a lengthy cooldown now, along with its other abilities. So, again, not much happening here. Looks like Cat failed a dive. Don't know exactly what was going on there. But it looks like Ezreal doesn't have any mana, and yet he's got a lot of health. So I don't know what he was doing here. You better watch his ass, because if he doesn't be careful, Diana is just gonna jump on him when he's got this low mana. And looks like they dove again, or they tried to dive on Ryze. Looks like Akali's getting really greedy up here. It's really costing her mid lane the game. They're going for Dragon now. I would actually suggest pushing the lane if I were them. I would suggest pushing the lane and then going for Dragon, but that's just me and my old-fashioned pushing strat and everything, you know, the thing that everyone does. I don't see any reason to give away the fact that you're doing Dragon this early. Soraka could maybe probably not give away the position. He probably could have gone and covered the lane for a little bit. This is a really risky move, in my opinion, especially since Tryndamere... If Tryndamere had made any action down here, it would have been a pretty easy steal, I think. And it looks like they got yeah, there we go. Okay, well, I don't know why he's going in on that, but it looks like he's able to... Oh, no, looks like... Oh, never mind. Never mind. So far, it looks like he's fine for the most part. Oh man, look at that clutch Soraka heal. That was a very, very risky dive. You never want to dive on a Rammus with a Soraka around at any point of his nerfs or buffs. They better be careful, because if they stay in there, Akali's just gonna jump all over them. And looks like they're getting a little bit of a skirmish here. Ryze looking like he's actually taking the damage pretty well. I was actually surprised that he didn't take that much damage, especially with the amount of damage Akali can dish out. It's looking like Akali's really afraid of him now because of the fact that he's died. That Akali has died to him 2 times, being too risky. What I think Rammus should do at this point, though, since he's got 2 kills and 5 assists, though, is probably go for that early oracles just to keep throw Akali off. Really to throw anyone off. Looks like we got some invasion going on here, or maybe Tryndamere thinks Ryze is still in lane. Tryndamere hasn't really been seeing or doing much throughout this entire game, so I don't know exactly what's going on here. Oh, looks like Tryndamere's getting caught here. We could see a kill here. I don't know why he didn't activate his ultimate. He's probably level 6, which is very unusual. And you'd also think that they had some kind of map awareness, but if not, I mean, I guess... Oh boy. And that... Oh boy. That was a very silly move by both of them. Seeing Rammus, but then going in on that kill anyway. Probably not what I would have done, to be honest. And again, looks like that passive mid lane is still happening. I mean, you'd think that one of them would push their advantage, but it doesn't look like it. We'd probably see I don't know what's going on with Akali here. I mean, oh man, that was a very good play by Rammus. You definitely want... Oh man, why didn't you... Rammus. Oh well, looks like he's going to get the kill anyway. It looks like he's got enough mana for everything. And he does, and he just destroyed her again. So, right now it looks like they tried to go in on Ryze, but nah, that hit a minion, so that wasn't able to hit him. This Rammus is going to really, really hurt this Tryndamere, especially because of the fact that Tryndamere just won't do anything to this Rammus later on. Late game, when Tryndamere is supposed to do stuff, Rammus just destroys him because he just gets so much armor and so much attack damage that Tryndamere just can't... He can survive it, but he can't do anything about it. Really what I would do is Olaf at this point, if I was this even with him. I mean, it doesn't even look like he's really even. Let me look at the score here. Looks like... No, it's not even at all, really. I mean, they have him out in the same CS, but he's ahead of him in gold. But if Olaf is behind like this, I'd mainly just focus on surviving Xin Zhao's trades, not trying to go in on him like this. I don't really know what he was trying to do here. I mean, what Xin Zhao was trying to do here. It's getting to that point where where Olaf's pretty hard to deal with, especially since Olaf has some armor now. And he's keeping Xin Zhao from doing any damage to anyone. Oh boy. And that Akali is not dead. Weird. Oh, I'm sorry. We missed some action down here. No. You gotta get one of the kills, man. You gotta get one of the kills. We gotta get one of the kills. There you go. And this Tryndamere thinks he can fight Rammus, but hasn't accounted for his armor. So, that's that. He just got a double kill. He gave Rammus... They gave Rammus a double kill just to give Tryndamere one. I don't know if that's worth it, especially since Rammus is going to really hurt Tryndamere later on. I probably would have played that a lot less aggressively. So it looks like, I don't know why Olaf is pushing. This is probably not the best course of action at this point, especially since this is just allowing Xin Zhao to farm into the tower. If he had just focused on only last hitting, and then harassing Xin Zhao, oh, and look at this, let me see if this hits Xin Zhao. No, it barely missed him. If he had hit that ultimate, I'm sure Olaf would have dove on him happily, but even then, he would have had to use his ultimate or something like that. So, looks like they're getting ready for a dive here. Oh, and that Ryze has to watch his ass, really, because if he doesn't, oh man, this Ryze, you better be careful. Oh boy. But he's gonna die now. He's got 2 people on him, and there's just nothing he can do about it. 3 people now. There's just not a whole lot he could have done. And there we go. And now Rammus is legendary. Olaf dies here, but This ain't good. This is not what you want to give the enemy team, really. What? I don't know why he was running away from that. He could have easily fought that Akali, or at least baited out her invisibility. Maybe he was afraid of where his... and that probably wasn't the best course of action by Ezreal, really. At least not in my humble opinion. So now, I don't know. I don't know why this team's kind of behind Ian's team. Let's see if he can get anything going in this late game, though. Look at that. The tower shots just aren't doing any damage to Rammus over here. He's just tanking everything and not caring. I don't know why he left Soraka alone like that. No, you don't want to do that. Oh boy. That Akali. Oh boy. There we go. Now Rammus is fed even more. He's got 9 kills this early in the game. He's got 9 kills before 20 minutes. That's pretty impressive. In the meantime, it looks like blue side is pushing down this purple turret. If I were him, I would probably not go in on this alone, even as Rammus. This is a very risky move. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like, oh wow, he's just not taking any damage. Ryze is closing in on him. We got a flash going on here. And this Tryndamere really wants something, but he just can't do anything against the tanky Ryze and Rammus. It's just nothing happened there. Just Tryndamere is just going to be dead weight by the end of the game at this point because of how tanky their team is. I feel like it was a very poor choice in character selection. But anyway, we got the second dragon going down here. Doesn't look like there's going to be any contesting of this dragon, because either they don't know what's going on, or they're just more focused on the tower. And that Ezreal is very dead, I think. Yeah, he's going to die. That poor Ezreal. I do not like Akali, just so you know. Akali is one of my least favorite characters, simply because there's just not a whole lot you can do against 3 offensive dashes. Plus they refresh on every assist. So if she assists in getting a kill, she has that mobility advantage right away, right off the bat. She's just never really been my favorite in terms of character design. That Soraka is not dead. I was surprised. They probably thought that Rammus was around, and if he was, I can guarantee you that he'd probably completely crush that Akali's health, or just do quite a bit of damage to her before she ran away. You'd think that they warned about pushing at this point, especially since if Akali jumps on him, he's probably going to die. Oh, never mind. It looks like he's going to kill her or something. I don't know what's going on here. Oh man, that Ryze is hurting. Look at that. Look at how much mana he's got. He's got 2,800 mana. You figure, unfortunately, this isn't a little replay, so... Oh man, there's nothing they could have done about that whole... Oh boy. That was a big panic jump on Katarina's part. Again, not a whole lot that she could have done about that. Other than not getting too antsy in terms of that jump. But this is exactly what I was talking about with the whole tanky comp. There was a big problem with the fact that the enemy team just has all assassins for the most part, other than like Tryndamere. They have all assassins, so they can't team fight. They just can't. And if they try, they'll all be disorganized or focused on one person, and Rammus can just draw away that aggro, and nothing good can come out of that disorganized team comp, really. There you go. There goes the purple ward. Looks like that's what's going on here. Doesn't look like there's any movement towards Baron. This could be a free Baron going out to purple team. Ian's really helping this out. You should probably get a little closer to Baron so that they can tank it a little bit more. But oh man, and here comes the cavalry. Let's see if Ian can get out of that smite or get something going out on that. I don't know what's going on here. There's just everyone's all over the place. But again, it's like everyone's just not tanky. There was no aggro onto the assassins. Oh man, this is just a slaughter. Oh man, that was a bad idea, especially with everyone at low health. Baron cutting everyone's resistances. They get a Baron, they turn it around. We could see some really bad things happening in this next few team fights. Problem is, they should have warded over here too, because if they saw them coming, then they probably would have all left, because then they would have all left, and then there wouldn't have been like anything bad that happening there. I mean, they would have all disengaged and been fine. But now they have a Baron. It's a problem. The big thing, though, is going to be their late game, though. Again, as I keep on saying, their late game still has not fully pulled through. I don't think Ezreal's even level 18 yet. That's the problem. Ezreal's not level 18, so he's not quite making as much of an impact as he should. Rammus isn't either, but he's also fed 9 kills. It looks like Rammus is going to go ahead and... They're both going to push this lane. What I probably would have done is just blown the ultimates there, right then and there. Cat's there to defend it, but at this point I don't think they're going to be able to do much to Rammus. In that last team fight, the only reason they lost was because Rammus wasn't paying attention to his teammates. But if they get an organized team fight going here, and Rammus is able to draw away that enemy aggro, that assassin aggro, and Ryze does not get caught like he's doing right now, I think he'll be fine. I think they'll be fine in that team fight. But yeah, again, there's just silly mistakes like this with the whole I'm the tank, let me go ahead and focus on killing one person instead of, hey, I'm the tank, let me draw away enemy fire and then kill them while I'm doing that. I feel like that team fight would have gone a lot smoother. Looks like we've got Olaf still pushing the lane. They've still got Baron, so I don't know if this is the best engage here, especially since, oh man, this Xin Zhao really wants it all, man. But looks like, oh man, that was a bad play by Akali. I don't know what she expected to get out of that. Right now, it looks like they're just split pushing all the lanes. Ezreal's getting more farm, getting more levels. This is actually what you definitely want to do. The only reason he couldn't before was because everyone would always jump on him whenever he tried to. It looks like here we could see a dive going on, on this. I think you should have waited until everyone... Oh man, he's doing work here. Rammus is still legendary, but this may not matter if they get some disorganized engagements off on his. Oh man, but he's very dead at this point. Other than, oh man, these Soraka's heals are definitely doing work though. Unfortunately, they're not quite enough, and it looks like Soraka's in just as much trouble as she goes down right there. Oh man, But then in the meantime, Rammus just doesn't seem to be grouping with his team, which is a big mistake, I feel like. I feel like if he's got this advantage, he should definitely be accompanying his teammates along with everyone else. I mean, well, with his squishies, at least, because Olaf may not exactly need Rammus, especially with the ultimate he gets, and the fact that he's so good at surviving. He's so good at surviving at least two people. Ryze is also one of those characters where you don't really have to worry about too much, especially with, look how much armor he's got. He doesn't have to worry about too much in terms of being defended at this point, which is I don't think Ian knew. I don't think Ian knew that he didn't really need it. And oh man, this could be a bad idea on Rammus's part. They need to get out of there, and that's exactly what they do, so that's always good. It looks like they're pushing mid. I don't know why Rammus is being. He could easily just defend mid lane at this point. Ryze says it's close, that the Dragon Steel was close, but I don't think it was close at all. You figure... oh man, this Olaf is very dead. There was not a whole lot he could do. He was getting 3-man dived. I feel like right now they need to push mid as hard as they can. I don't know why they're not doing that. It's a very strange play. I don't know exactly what they aim to do here. maybe they wanted to prevent a push at top lane, but even then they could have just pushed down the mid lane and won the game if they tried to base race. They would have easily won that base race. There would have been nothing that he could have done about that. And looks like they're going balls deep here. I don't know if this is the best play on their part. I mean, oh man, but it looks like Rammus gets another kill. The problem is he can't keep everyone off the squishies, or he isn't trying to, or something. I don't know what's going on. And at this point, there's just nothing she can do. There's nothing that Akali can do once they catch her. And at this point, you got to figure Rammus is incredibly tanky. There's just no damage can be done to this Rammus. There's really nothing. Oh man, but here we go. She's trying to go in on for the ultimate, but there's not anything she could do to put off damage there. Oh man, nice reflexive. That was a very nice reflexive flash on Ryze's part. I don't know if he did that intentionally, but very nice play. So it looks like we're going to see some aggression at bottom lane. It's definitely something that you could definitely something you do at this point. And again, at this point, it doesn't look like Rammus is taking any damage at all. He can just tank turrets endlessly. If he wanted to, they could just take bottom lane and then take aggro from 2 people as Rammus, and then there'd be nothing wrong with that, really, I don't think. The only other issue I see with the Rammus pick, maybe, is the fact that I feel like he was only building to counter Tryndamere for the most part. Not building, but picking to counter Tryndamere. Looks like we're gonna see this Akali foolishly... Oh, never mind. She has flash. If Rammus got the taunt on Diana, she would... Oh, man. Diana just blows up now. Again, there's not a whole lot of anyone can do if they individually get caught. And again, the only reason... oh man, he's got to keep them off of the squishies, but he doesn't seem to be doing a good job of that. He's... Oh man, but it looks like... It's a good thing Rammus isn't taking any damage, because if he was, there'd just be very little that anyone could do at that point. Oh man, barely missing Tryndamere as he goes back to base. And look at that. It just doesn't... This Rammus just doesn't take any damage. They can go ahead and poke or attack or try to kill him all they want, but so far it looks like they're just kind of switching aggro between the towers, and each time they get one person at a time. And no, I don't know why they're just only going for the Tryndamere. I mean, I guess it's because they don't... I guess it's because he doesn't have any way of escaping, and they also wanted an assured victory. I don't know what this Soraka was doing. That was a little bit of a mistake, I feel like. But luckily nothing bad comes out of it. And thank God Ryze didn't get dealt any damage, really. Because at this point, Ryze is that late-game terror that I was talking about. Looks like they're being... I don't know why they're being. They could probably go in on this still. Especially with Rammus being at this high health. If they stole blue, oh, isn't there. Never mind. I was going to say, if they had blue up, they could easily take it and then push down the middle and then be fine. But looks like they're going to try to finish this up here pretty soon. Now, we don't have much time left in the game. Looks like Ryze gets an Oracles because he's not dying at all in team fights, so he just wants that extra killing power on Akali. Plus, looks like he's got almost a full build here. He's got... I don't know. I don't understand why they're so angry. Especially... Oh man, look at that. Just... Rammus as a tank, you really have to make sure you can... Oh man, and then look at this. No one can damage Rammus. That's what happens when Rammus gets fed, is he just becomes just impossible to kill. I don't know why Rammus was going for Baron here. I feel like he could have easily just gone in and cleaned up. Oh man, then this Ryze is legendary too. This is the horrible cleanup that their team can easily do late game. It doesn't matter if Ezreal blows up. I don't know why they were going for Baron here. They could have easily just gone and won it right there. And I feel like this is a very aggressive and sort of risky-ish play. They could easily get Baron, but why drag the game on longer? I don't understand. And people are going Olaf 1v1, which is really stupid in my opinion. And Rammus can 1v1 anybody because he's just impossible to kill, and he has so much AD. And that, oh, if you saw that defensive ball curl gave him 400 armor, which is, I think, ridiculous. Late game Rammus is still there, but it's his early game that I always had a problem with. And, looks like... I don't know why they're not going for anything aggressive here. They could easily just push down and win it right away. And he's got a lot of AD. But with the amount of armor he's got, you gotta figure he's got... he has 269 flat armor. There's nothing that Tryndamere or Xin are just going to do to him in teamfights. Again, it's going to come down to protecting Ezreal, because if Ezreal can be protected and everyone else, I mean, Ezreal doesn't, I mean, Ryze doesn't really need any protection, and neither does Olaf, so you just have to look at how, oh man, look at Rammus just tanking everything like a boss. And I don't know why Ezreal's tanking the tower here, but it doesn't look like he's getting away from Rammus, though. Oh, man, and then Ezreal goes out. Look at that. He's just tanking turrets for days. You gotta figure he was going for, like, 40 turret hit, like, not 40 turret hits. That would be ridiculous. Something like 20 turret hits or something like that. There's just nothing that can happen to him at all at this point. And oh man, this Olaf is late game Olaf at this point. I don't know why Ryze isn't going over here. He's the only one with the oracles. And it's a little... Oh man, and then... Oh, better use my ultimate as a Akali and ignore the fact that they all built magic resist. And oh man, it's just... Rammus is just crushing so hard. And looks like we got the surrender vote going down here, and that's GG. The big problem was the fact that they just didn't have a late game team comp. The enemy team did not have a late game team comp at all, and they were not built around team fighting at all either, because there was hardly any AoE damage on their entire team, if any at all, other than Diana. Katarina has a decent amount too, but there's only so much she can do with a Rammus on her ass at all times. So that's been a commentary for my friend Ian's game, and I hope you'll provide some feedback in the comments below, or in an inbox message or something like that. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. This is kind of a first for me, going and doing a full-length kind of commentation of the entire game rather than just myself. So I'd like to hear what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.